Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. This time I have with me the winner of the Gdansk Regional, which took place a couple of weeks ago. So welcome to PvP David.
Thanks, Leonardo. Happy to be here and having a nice conversation with you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So let's start with simple things first. So do you want to tell us a little bit about more yourself, if you still study, what you do for a living, and how you started playing in the first place?
Yeah, of course. In game, my name is PvpDavid, but outside of the game, my name is David. At the moment I'm currently studying in. I think this is my like in. I think in Sweden it's a bit different to compared to other countries, but I think this is my year last year before university, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And I started playing the game. Basically around, I think most people could relate, it was like around 2016 when everyone's like picked it up, right? And then everyone stopped for a bit, and then I picked it up later on, and here we are basically. It's very
Yeah.
straightforward.
So it's a story that's common to many people. So
Yeah,
it's nice to see that the younger generation of players who started playing PvP at high level, you, Boom20, Emmy Weedle, all of you, also Passerman, all of you guys are just growing older and older. So now everyone is going to
yeah,
university. So yeah, you're no longer kids. I'm sorry, guys.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, we are here today to talk a little bit about your experience, your run. So this season you managed to win pretty early, so even earlier the last year when you won Stuttgart. So you won 1 month early on your schedule, and yeah, so very impressive. So I do have with me some some material that we can go um, over together. So looking at your run and your day one specifically, so a couple of thoughts about um, how you perceived your group. Like, I guess, well, if we look at the names, there are at least a couple of names that you really wouldn't probably wishing to face too early in the tournament. So, what were your thoughts about the group?
I mean, in general, I feel like in Gdansk specifically, like the tournament, going to the tournament, I felt like in general, I think many people would agree that it was going to be pretty stacked. It was not necessarily that many players per se, but the players that were going to compete were very good, like world's competitive level, right? So going into the tournament, I just felt like I'm just gonna focus on myself, see how it goes, and I didn't really think too much about it. When the groups did came out though, and I saw the people I had to face, although we didn't necessarily see the players we had to face, but when I woke in the morning and checked, I didn't really think too much about it, and I was just focused on myself and just had to do the thing I had to focus on basically.
Okay, so one match at a time. I think yeah, that's the most
Yeah,
straightforward
it's a
way
bit. Yeah.
to approach the tournament
Although
without.
I will say I'm kind of happy that I didn't get into Group A. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah.
But
So let's have a look at Group A
yeah,
as well, just for the sake of. Yeah. So definitely there are. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So
that's
the
quite stacked.
runner-up of this regional, the runner-up of the Frankfurt, Tomahawk UK, who is a very good player, very strong contender to regional every time he attends. Dane also, so fellow
Yeah,
Swede.
fellas, yeah,
Yeah. Also, yeah, Kazim, Firenze is from Sweden as well, if I'm not mistaken.
right.
And yeah, Paterman also. Yeah, we can maybe talk about yeah the Paterman run. He's not getting any points yet, but I'm sure his time will come.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
regional, this meta particularly, but it's a bit strange and
Yeah,
it, unpredictable. Yeah, we can talk about it later. So yeah, also yeah, I can see Wither here, who got an unfortunate run, and I think that that's the case for many players in the regional. Lots of upsets, lots of good players that on paper were really good and with a good shot at doing the two. They just it wasn't their day, it wasn't their weekend. And yeah, this happens, as you said, when um, the tournament is in proportion very stacked. So there are not many players, but majority of players are very good ones. And so the average level was very high for this regional. I agree. It was really hard to advance to day two without a bit of luck probably, because yeah, when everyone is good, you just need your
Yeah,
luck to be
yeah,
on your side for a bit.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so before diving into your run in the specific, actually, yeah, we haven't spent a single word on your team, and it was interesting because yeah, the grand final was a mirror team, a mirror match, and yeah, everyone was curious to know whether you and Boom20 had talked about the team previously during prep time in the previous weeks, or maybe yeah, just you got to the same conclusion because it was so obvious for you guys that the best team was something along these lines. So how did it go?
So yeah, as you may notice, and everyone else, yeah, me and Boop did actually make the team together. It was actually just the week before, or actually on Monday in the same weekend, because during after Lille, I was competing in Lille right before Gdansk, and the meta was a bit chaotic back in Lille. Like we saw just a lot of different stuff in the top usage, and that made me try and think what could be the most neutralized, like the most neutral team possible into the meta. And what Boom and I did come into the conclusion was Altaria. Altaria looked not really like strong into every team, but it looked quite safe in particularly in the zero shield scenario. So we tried to building around that, and that's also where the funny story came as well, because Boom was actually the one that kind of came up with the Altaria pick, but I did say that I really like playing Shadow Scissor in Lil, so that's what we came up with. That was like the basically the pin, like the standard or like the bottom line of the team was Altaria with a steel type, and this was Shadow Scissor, and then the rest of the team was trying to cover things around, and this is what the final product was basically.
Okay, so you both chose one hero each, basically.
Yeah,
So the one that for you is the potential MVP or just the win condition, almost all games, and then yeah, trying to fill the gaps in the team all
yeah,
around.
it was basically a bit of a mixture of like the positive feedback that I got when I played in Lille, what worked for me like back then, and what could probably potentially work again. So in Lille, I did say that Scissor was pretty good, but also Florges, and at that time, Florges wasn't like it got second place, right? But it was still a bit unfamiliar, and people probably hadn't really like practiced it as much. So we thought Florges could also throw people off guard or be quite safe because people haven't really faced it much.
Yeah. Well, I guess in a meta where the only used grass type takes neutral from water attacks,
Yeah,
yeah, also kind of makes sense, except for Galaxco Bolton, who is superior lover.
yeah,
Yeah, everyone knows
yeah.
that.
I know.
Uh, also follows with, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I actually I do have some mixed feelings about Flow just because every time I tried it out in the practice tournaments, it let me down every time. The damage output wasn't hard enough, and I don't know. It lacks. It is in that awkward start product range where you don't deal too much damage, but you're still kind of glassy for the meta. So yeah, I couldn't just figure out a way to make it work at the end. It just ended up just leaving it out. Yeah, I kind of agree that overall, even against Empoleon, it actually with two Trailblazers just forces Empoleon to shield, for example, uh, consider the situation. So it's actually very good. The only also Caesar gets KO from two moves as well. Yeah, definitely. I I understand why Floor just won a regional this time, and understand why it almost won it in Lille. And Regarding Altaria, yes, Altaria definitely. You guys were not the only ones leaning on
Yeah,
Altaria. Yeah, a lot
yeah.
of players recognized its power, the bulk, the improved pacing, and the damage was really good. Also, yeah, the flamethrower coverage for the steel types was super important. Also, provided a second strong check for Corviknight because you can't really rely on Snapfisk alone if they have a Maslapper. So yeah, you need something that kills both Maslapper and Corviknight at the same time. So yeah, I think the team was really well constructed, and yeah, it really gave its results twice. So yeah, the best possible outcome for this team was just gaining 2 medal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Any other like, for example, the role of Stamfisk. I don't know if you want to spend a couple of words about it because the ground type was kind of problematic. Every ground type that you brought had a lot of disadvantages. So how did you cope with the fact that introducing your ground type would also create a lot of unbalances in your team, and how did you try to make the team just more well-rounded?
So yeah, that was also, yeah, another thing about the team. Yeah, we needed something like when after Leo Wright, we saw Ufisk actually going up in usage. So that made me and Boom think that in Stunfisk, if everyone is starting to using Ufisk and dropping every ground type, that makes just Ufisk neutral into other Ufisk, right? If I play Ufisk and the other player plays Ufisk, there isn't really much advantage in there. And that will basically, even though it is kind of crazy to say that Ufisk is such a neutral pick, that it was such a neutral pick for us, rather than being quite polarizing, Ufisk having like a lot of polarizing matchups. It, because of the reason and the fact that the ground types such as Alona Marowak and Gastrodon started to drop off top usage. Especially, I believe Kwak, for example, didn't make top usage in Lille. I don't know, but it was definitely like at least like in the at the end, like at the very bottom. And Gastrodon, I think in day two in Lille wasn't like didn't do too well, I think. So that was why we came up with Ufisk, and also we had to cover. I believe we had to cover for Talonflame in that team as well, so we needed to have Anguilary Moltres as well. So there was Ufisk had like that sort of nice role in beating the Flyers, whilst also having still the ground type coverage as well. So that was probably the reason why we went with Ufisk.
Yeah, so the ground tap that just fit best into the holes left
Yeah,
by the main MVPs that you had identified that you told me before. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, Yuffie's gained a lot of usage for sure, and especially because yeah, in the day two graphics in the last regionals, Gastrodon is just going down
yeah.
all the time. It's going down. Kotsai also is rising up a lot. More and more people are using Kotsai, and I can understand why. It just a ground tabby that beats
Yeah.
Cradily pretty strongly, and it has one shot
And
potential.
that was also, I think, another reason why we also picked Euphis rather than Clodsire, because as you see, I think Colin, he actually had some similarity. He helped us, was in kind of in the team building process, but he went with Clodsire, but we
Yeah,
stuck with Euphis because Euphis also is kind of like favorable into the head to head against Clodsire, right? So that was also like a nice thing for Euphis.
yeah, yeah. There were definitely a couple of ways some player could just build a team, and your way proved to be the winning one. But also, yeah, I think that the Collins team was also well made
Yeah.
because Empoleon and Altaria make a very nice core, and Empoleon basically yeah also pairs very well with Clodsire. It's hard for someone to bring a Manslapper into Colin's team because there's Altaria, there is another flying type, there are two grass attackers.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, I think also his team was very smart. And also, I lost to him, so yeah, I must say that he was a very good team. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't do a good impression. But yeah, so we we already talked about yeah how you and Boom exchange ideas before, I mean during tournament prep. Any other players that you were friend with that you maybe wish to face during your run, or maybe you didn't wish to?
I mean, yeah, it's hard to overlook Boom, for example, like we did end up facing, right? But if I had to choose someone else, it would probably be like I don't mind facing anyone in particular, but it would be kind of nice if it wasn't Boom. I would have to say would have to be Colin or his brother Kelio, a good friend of mine, and both of them basically. So that would be fun if that ever happens, and not in an early round. Like it would have to be like in a grand finals or something like that, because otherwise I don't really like to play it out against someone that I am friends with, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Well, also there are a lot of Team Pizza members at the 10 regionals every time, so it's kind of hard to avoid them all. So
Yeah,
sometimes yeah, like you are forced to play against them. Yeah, I remember last year in Birmingham, I had to battle Kazim twice, then Colin as well, and all of us were in losers bracket. So it was
yeah,
just a former Team Pizza member trying to climb their way up against real Team Pizza member. It was also yeah kind of sad because every time you have to just you have those fratricidal rounds where yeah you know players very well, you're friends with them, and yeah you really wouldn't want them to get knocked out, but yeah it's either you or me, so
yeah,
yeah
exactly.
that's how
So
it
fun.
goes.
Yeah,
Okay, so we have your day one bracket run in front of us, and yeah, a couple of words on the round you played. If you happen to remember some games that didn't go on stream, or maybe even if you, I mean, I'm sure you will remember more solidly the games that went off stream as well. But yeah, for example, okay, so you got seeded, so of course you start from round two, and you face Fizz Luis, who is another Team Pizza member, if I recall correctly, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, we
Yeah.
I didn't remember too much of those games in particular, but I do remember that she was I I think it was like the end game scenario. I had Furret on Azumro, and I was at full health. I think I was in a winning position, and I remember just being like, I should shield this first move just in case they go for like a player off, because double ice beam usually is the correct way to play it out in the zeros, or because you always need two moves. But then I pressed the shield button and I see hydro pump, and then went like whoa, and I didn't even so she apparently ran hydro pump, I think ice beam play route hydro pump, something like that, and I didn't
Yes.
check the moves before the battle, so because I just assumed there was play rough, so that was a bit funny for me, basically. So I feel like for anyone that's competing, I recommend to absolutely double check what moveset your opponent is running. That was something I remember for those games. And yeah, second round, facing against Bakami. I after the first round, I felt like it was a bit shaky. I'm not gonna lie. I when after my first round, I didn't feel like I played like the best. But it's always like that, a bit shaky the first rounds. So then I move on to second round, and it was quite close games. It came down to game three actually, where I actually get a bit lucky for with Corviknight against Sumo. I actually end up getting back to back to back air cutter boost
Wow.
Corva Knights. And I think that was actually a bit of kind of decisive in the lead scenario, because that basically meant I came up with a shield down but triple boosted Corva Knight, and I think at that point it was kind of over. But at the same time, it did get, I think, a Panguro boost in game number two. So it was a bit crazy, those games. I thought I would kind of lose for sure after that second game. But somehow we managed to bail out that round. And as I said, to be honest, like some games will have some luck in your favor. That's for sure.
Yeah, it has to be like this. Like you can't really demand full skill on every single round, every single game, but everyone is as good as you. So yeah, you kind of you're gonna have to hope for some RNG in your favor. You make a good read with some backline, and of course, yeah, this is part of the game. So yeah,
Yeah,
what you can do is just practicing a lot and just being
yeah,
sharper and sharper in
yeah.
guessing what's in the back, for example, something like this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think after that round specifically, after that round I was like, okay, uh, it then like after the rounds you start to feel a bit more comfortable, and that's how I felt going into the rest of the tournament. Again, I think it was right after that, yeah, I faced Stone Collection.
Yeah,
Yeah, Stone is, if there's someone that I you could technically call a nemesis, but not necessarily a nemesis, but their Stone in particular is someone I always end up facing, which is quite funny. I faced them three times in Stuttgart,
yeah,
him one time in Stockholm, I believe, and then also one in EYC. So I think if there's someone I've played the most in terms of play Pokemon tournaments, it has to probably be Stone Collection.
yeah,
So yeah, those games I think were on stream, and it was I did have kind of a team comp advantage with Ufix being quite safe in term, which did might have put me on the edge seat in that matchup.
yeah, yeah. So that's really interesting because Stone Collection ended up doing day two at the end, despite being extremely weak to Stunfisk. And yeah, the only answer is for red, which is not even a real wall,
Yeah,
and a mirror matchup, and then hoping to get some energy with some water Osaka, either Gyarados or Golisabod, and hoping to get energy somewhere so that you can land a water move. But despite this, like he managed to have a very nice run, regardless. So yeah, props to him definitely. He always builds teams in a unconventional way. Yeah,
yeah,
let's put it this way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Props.
remember, yeah, back in the day, like 2 or 3 years ago, he used to run Samurai Angle
Yeah,
Ventula.
I remember that. Yeah, Stone is quite interesting when it comes to team building, but also he's a good player for sure. So you have to always be mindful of that, and always I have a huge respect for Stone. Really nice player to face always.
Yeah. And then the winner semi, I think. Yeah, I guess Alejandro was the winner. No, was the winner.
I think it
No,
was winners
was the winner
finals.
final in your group? Yes.
Yeah, but that
Yes.
played in day two, right? So
Yeah.
after Stone's game, I was pretty much done for day one. So I had some time to prepare for this matchup with Boom. Or I did some got some help with Boom because he also made it to day two. So we started to prep into day one, into day two. Um, and I feel like the matchup was a bit interesting. It could have gone definitely like both ways. It was not necessarily an easy matchup, and yeah, I feel like in those games I got a bit lucky with the right lead calls, and had basically the comp during the games. But as I said, it could have definitely got the other way around. He could have easily won those games if he got like the right alignment, but I guess this time wasn't the case.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, particularly some lag in game one that just ended up forcing the matchup to be replayed. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a bit unfortunate. We all
situation.
noticed
Yeah,
he was visibly distressed after the first
yeah,
game. Yeah, that
yeah.
was the issue.
That it's unfortunate, like this has happened multiple times. Not necessarily for Alejandro, but also have also happened to me as well. Like after a rematch, you get a bit frustrated on the game, and then you lose a bit focus. And like in general, like even if you are not the opponent lagging as well, like there is just a momentum that just goes away just trying to wait what the judge says or not if there is a rematch. But I've tried to learn during that time to just still focus, still think, and not really let that momentum that goes away to affect me.
Yeah, well, if it is something that you are known for, just you look as if you never lose your cool on stream, even during like hard times, game wise, you still look very composed, and so yeah, there's a lot of work probably you did, or just maybe just because you are made this way. But yeah, definitely it helps a lot. It helps a lot
Yeah.
as someone who suffers from high pressures, and yeah, I can agree that having a strong mindset of just not letting the external events just move you plays a huge role. And in your day one, so okay, we already have a, a long chat about your day one, but yeah, your most intense round um, for the first day. Do you think it was against Bakemi because it just ended up being the only round when you actually conceded one game, or are there any other factors that play a role here?
I think you put it the best way. I would say against Bakami, day one was probably the most like closest matchup and closest game. I did actually drop the first game of that set, so I was down 0-1, and then in game two, as I said, he did get the Pangoro boost, which didn't affect anything, but it made it just a bit more uncomfortable. I had to be mindful of a catch that he could make. And yeah, game three, I did kind of get bailed out by a Corviknight triple boost back to back.
Yeah, so things kind of balance out, right? So you boost, I boost. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
okay, so jump into day two. So you go to day two as a winner. So now your bracket looks like this. So you have to face Polasha, and then the winner between Boom 20 and Howie, and then so on to the winner finals. So uh, did you? Okay, so since actually the day two was already the winner finals of the day one, uh, basically, did did you carve some time out to try and study potential teams for the next players if you happen to win against Alejandro? So how did you prep for this? Because it was already day two, and I don't know if you had the time to prepare for this top cut as well.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, since I actually did up have the fortune to beat Alejandro in the winners finals, I did have a lot of time to prepare for the next matchup, and I did know that I would face one of the winners from two groups, and so they were also gonna play right before me as well. So what I did was since I had so much time, also after the winners finals, they were gonna do the losers finals or the losers go into the losers side of the bracket. So that just made me have so much extra time. So what I did was after those games, I watched who won between who are basically who the opponent that was gonna face, and that did end up being Polasha. So I did some scrims. In the venue with Boom because he also kind of wanted to scrim his matchup for his winner side matchup. So that's basically how we prepared. We didn't have too much time to prepare, but we did have time to come up with basically strategies to tackle the matchup.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it makes sense since you were in Group B, so yeah, you also had to wait for the Group C or Group D,
Yeah,
and yeah, also the loser side. So yeah, definitely lot of time to prepare for. And okay, so you have Polasha as the first match of the Top Cup, and yeah, so more or less you keep facing forward more or less.
yeah,
Second Gerados that you
yeah,
see. Also, probably only two Gerados in the whole tournament, and you happen to face them both.
yeah. That was interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
wasn't expecting that.
and then Fortress, which I guess it could be a little bit uncomfortable for your team if you go soft to it. So I'm curious to know how you actually approached this matchup.
Right. Yeah. So as I did say mention before with the team in general was that the team didn't, as you say, it doesn't feel like a power creep team. Like there isn't too many strong mons. It's more focused on scissor. That's like basically the only thing that is like kind of scary with the strong fast move bullet punch. But the rest of the mons are neutral. And the thing is with these neutral mon is that most of these mons are pretty good at soft losing. This was basically the strategy behind the team that me and Boom made, just soft losing and setting up a different one in the back. So going into this matchup, this was actually a good showcase of it because Florges in the zero shield scenario against Fortress, for example, can soft lose and leave it like really low in the red health, very debuffed as well. That can set up, for example, a scissor in the back or something else to get a nice farm down. And once the fortress is basically gone, that opens up a lot of door for Shadow Scissor.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I guess the floor just credit limit up is not this terrible in the zeros because yeah they have to throw a second move. They can't really
Yeah,
farm you down.
exactly.
So yeah, and after two or three chilling waters, you can just basically send attack down with Kobe Knife, for example, something like this. So yeah, okay. So soft losing and trying to make energy with something in the back was the
Yeah,
key. Was the key for this matchup.
yeah, for sure. And I feel like that did go most in like in most games like that I did play in this tournament. It was having the strategy to not having like the correct alignment per se, but it was more so trying to get energy lead or head start in most matchups, I would say, with this team in
Yeah,
particular.
yeah. Well, yeah. I suppose yeah. Just giving energy to either Caesar
For
or forward. Yeah, or
yeah,
forward wasn't a bad idea at all. Okay, so and after both you and Boom helped each other passing the first round, yeah, you just had to battle together. So
yeah.
what was the mood you guys were into at the moment?
Yeah, so as we said before the tournament, we were saying like for fun, like it would be crazy if we both make it like really far. And then Boom was like, yeah, let's try and get to grand finals together, just for a joke, right? And then we did end up being on the opposite side, so we did see that the potential that we both could face up in the winners finals. So once we both did beat our first round in top eight, we were both, I mean, if I'm gonna be like sincerely, I did feel like after I beat Alejandro in May top eight, I was pretty happy that I already achieved top eight because I did barely miss it in day two in Lille. So once I beat Paula and had to face Boom, we were just basically saying, agreeing to each other that we just play it out and whoever wins wins. Basically, we were both really happy just reaching top three at that time. So yeah,
Okay, so whatever comes is just an extra, and
yeah, it was
yeah,
basically that because we did not expect to make that far and also with the same team and also just building that team together and screaming with each other a lot. So that
yeah.
was pretty extraordinary for sure.
And how do you play against a mirror team? Because yeah, so I guess the forward and kind of Stunfisk have to come almost every game because they are the most neutral ones. But yeah, this duo is also kind of softish to Florges, so you kind of have to scare it off. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good point. Yeah, going into the, as I said, into the matchup, we both kind of agree that whoever wins wins. But when I was sitting on the like viewing the matchup, I did, as you said, it was a lot of more specifically mind games because we both knew a bit because of practicing and team building together around what IVs we had or like how we had basically trained our mons, right? So we did know who was probably gonna win CMP against each other, like if in terms of like some big ones, for example, Shadow Scissor. That made it like more difficult to have like a clear plan. But we did know. I think both of us knew that first Euphis was strong, and I think as you can see in most of the games, it was basically trying to set up Furret with energy or Euphis with energy, and that was basically, and also using Altaria mainly as a sponge, trying to absorb energy. That was basically the formula for the mirror matchup. But as I said, it could have gone like in multiple ways, and it was a lot of mind games just because
yeah,
of the fact that we didn't knew each other with the IVs.
yeah. I mean, especially in these cases, but yeah. So the higher the level and the most similar the teams, you're no longer playing against your opponent's Pokemon. You're just playing against your opponent's mind
Yeah,
because yeah, you can't really make a safe line at a certain point. You have to
yeah,
just try and anticipate what your opponent is thinking.
yeah. That's basically what happened here because, as I said, Boom is a really good friend of mine, so we have battled a lot. Like not even in this tournament, we have scrimmed for like we have probably played 1,000 times for sure. We have known for like over 3 years, so it's kind of crazy. So it was a lot of just trying to get into each other's heads basically, and uh, that's basically the best way to put it. But yeah, uh, it was you had to be a bit unpredictable and think, okay, what's the best way to be as of a surprise against each other.
Yeah, and I saw that a couple of times. Either of you brought Caesar, just trying and snap the Florges, or maybe just yeah, bringing Florges sometimes, just try and snipe the Furret Altaria Stunfisk trio which was very
Yeah,
common.
and we did also.
Uh,
I will let's say I think someone mentioned that on stream, like they were surprised that Boom won CMP and then I won CMP, and I
yeah,
can't,
yeah. So the
and I
Furret,
yeah I can confirm that we are actually running the same attack. So it was a coin flip, and we both knew that.
yeah, it was so fun to watch live. Yeah. Um. So okay, so after this, you had the at least the second place secured, and which was great. And then you had to wait for just um, all the
The losers.
losers bracket to populate and to go back to you in the end. During this time, did you really try and find other ways to play the mirror? Did you better? Were you expecting Boom to come back at you at the end? So were you already preparing for another mirror, or you were just relaxing a little bit?
So yeah, as you said, I think I didn't have to wait too much for a long time. I think it was top four that I hadn't played yet. So I think once I beat Boom, I knew it's gonna be probably Colin that I had to face or Boom. So as you said, it was either gonna be the mirror or Colin. And I when I did just briefly after those games, trying to process what happened in the winners. Uh, it was like I said, it was already a lot of mind games heading into the winners finals, so I it was not gonna be like any easier. Actually, it was gonna be more of a mind game for sure, because like the lines that we both reveal to each other could be played again, but in different orders. Basically,
Yeah,
like you could use this line in game one rather than game three, etc., etc. And against, so I didn't really want to think about that matchup too much. So I rather wanted to focus what could have happened if I faced Colin, for example. Fun fact though, that me and Boom and Colin making top three is kind of funny because we all three kind of helped each other with the team building, and we also stayed the day before into the tournament saying it would be cool if we all make top three when we're discussing in the hotel. So that's a side note, but yeah, when I did see Boom beating Colin, I was kind of happy about that. Not necessarily, mainly also the fact that it is cool that we'd had to face Mirror again and running the same team. But I do think that Colin's team was actually could be way more trickier for me to deal with. So I'm kind of pleased that Boom did actually beat Colin, because I don't know how those games against Colin would have played out. Whereas the Mirror, you kind of know what to expect in some ways. Just gonna be more mind games in that
yeah,
sense.
yeah. And at that point, just statistically speaking, you had the edge on Boom just because, yeah, it was you were more likely to win 3 games, either pre-reset or even just
Yeah,
post-reset.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and given that every game was basically a coin flip, yeah, just win. Losing too many coin flips in a row was an unlikely scenario. Given that, yeah, the mirror team also mirror minds.
Yeah,
So yeah, just
and
statistically
also
speaking, you were the favorite for for the title.
yeah, and also like in terms of team comp, I feel like Colin did have the Empoleon and Credilli together could be a bit iffy. And whereas if I play Boom, it's always going to be kind of neutral matchup regardless. The only polarizing matchup I believe is only Scissor into Florges, vice versa. So yeah, that was mainly it. Besides that, it was always going to be First Mirror, Euphis Mirror, Altari Mirror, or maybe Corviknight. And even Florges into Ferret in Euphis is not that bad per se.
Okay, so you ended up winning it all at the end. It was very great to watch your games. And was there any moment in your run when you felt the least confident or the most confident? So when you thought you would lose the momentum and maybe, yeah, you wouldn't be able to make it at all, either in day one or day two. Maybe it was the first game, I guess, back in round two, in day one, where you were with one leg of the tournament, because you lost the first game. Maybe that was a crucial moment for you, or were there any others, like, yeah, any other moments where
I
you
think
lost some trust or you gained some extra trust?
Yeah, I think we can go in terms of day two because we already discussed a bit about day one because Bakumi was a bit of a if close matchups. But in day two, I would say there was actually two pivotal moments for when it came to me getting like the momentum shift going for my end, and that was against Bolosha. I did lose game one, very close. She won, I think, with a couple HP, and then game two, I really thought I didn't think it's hard to explain in the moment, but in that moment, I knew that I had to catch, uh, and I knew that that was my only win con, and to actually keep me alive in the winner's side. So I did count. I actually, looking back at it, I did actually miscount by one bug bite, but in the moment I just went with instinct and went for a catch my wing con, and luckily I did get that, and that actually made it tying up the score. And after that catch, I felt it just like it just gave me a massive momentum shift into that matchup, and I just felt quite comfortable after that game, and I did end up winning that game. And secondly, I would say it was against Boo. Both of those sets were really close, and it was always
Yeah,
2-2.
yeah,
But I think the very last game, actually, the very last game, uh, I get a bad lead. I get Scissor into Altaria, or I'm the Altaria. It's not super bad, but it's not. Uh, it's quite uncomfortable, so I do prefer swapping out. And then I see the floor just responding to Ferret, and at that point, I think that in my head, I'm thinking we might have to. We're going into a reset, but I don't give up quite easily, so I play it out, and the I think the pivotal moment there is when he actually just gives up switch for free because he predicts that I'm gonna bring Altaria to farm down the floor just to get energy head start. But I bring Ufisk, and that gives me a bit of a favor in terms of alignment, although Scissor is good up energy against Ufisk. But I think what really changes everything, and at that when I get that catch, I kind of know that I have have it's very likely I have a chance of winning, and that's when I catch the Trailblaze on the Altaria
yeah,
process.
yeah. That was the moment that sealed the game for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I remember I was watching it live. Yeah, there was a clear moment when you when all the odds swing in your favor. Definitely.
yeah. So that I would say that moment, the very last game, was a game that basically shifted everything into the win, basically.
Okay, so you ended up winning this regional, but looking forward in the season. So of course, I think yeah, you're gonna play the LAIC, right?
Yeah, yeah. I did
What
get you.
else?
Um, uh, at the moment, I haven't planned too much yet. I do have some considerations in mind, but I will say that I've booked my flights for EYC, so I will be competing there. In terms of besides EYC, I have not really decided quite yet because, yeah, I would preferably just as I'm already qualified, I just probably wanna have a think like quite clearly where I'm gonna travel for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just if you happen to do some nice points either in either IC, you will maybe try and push for the travel award at the end of the season. Otherwise, yeah, you can just
Yeah,
sit back a little bit and enjoy the season
yeah,
for what it
exactly.
gives. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. That's how I view it as well. Like, depending on, I will always just play the metas or like the tournaments that I'm already registered for and decide after that and go from there basically.
yeah. Okay, and looking forward to the new update instead. So I guess most of us are have grown a little bit tired of how the meta looks like now. Even though actually, yeah, the introduction of Spidops could swing some usage because it's a very good Pokemon with a nice coverage, with some debuffing strats going around. But yeah, so how do you feel? What would you really like to see for the next 3 months, or maybe you wouldn't like to see at all? So you are hoping they don't touch something, or you are hoping they put their hands on something just to completely destroy it, just take it out of the meta.
I feel like most people that have competed in this season or in specifically in this meta can all agree that team building has been a bit of a headache. because you have to cover for so many things. There's so many months that you have to just take consideration, and that kind of compresses your team building a bit. It makes it annoying trying to find like the neutral picks, because you have to check for this. Like for example, a clear example is the Dene. The Dene hasn't been seen at all in the recent usage. Like it's nowhere to be found, but you still kind of have to be prepared for it, because if you do end up being unlucky and facing a Dene, it's gonna be very rough for you to play that. So in my opinion, uh, I feel like they do have to make some adjustments. In terms of what adjustments, it's kind of hard to say, but in my opinion, I want to see a meta that's more. It it could be more like more centralized. Could be more same, seeing the same thing, but having the neutrality in that meta is quite pivotal and quite important for me, and probably for many other people as well, because as long as you have a neutral meta, there's always play. In a bad situation, you can, but with having a neutral matchup or neutral play, there's always hope that you can flip the game whilst having like a bad lead, for example. So, and I feel like in this tournament in particular was a good demonstration of a bit of a how it could be with a neutral meta. Like I did, like I said, did me and both from I can speak from Boom's side as well, that me and Boom didn't really feel like we had a super polarizing matchup. We always felt like there was some play, and I feel like after this tournament we have seen a bit of the meta being more finally settling down in some stuff. I feel like Altaria, Ufisk, and Furt has been like super high usage now after Gdansk. But in general, I would say trying to maybe nerf a few picks that just makes the team building more that you can have more opportunity with team building, rather than being quite stricted just to take into account so many picks in the meta.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of do agree with this because yeah, I mean, I've been having more and more team building issues in the past
Yeah.
3 or 4 months than in the whole past seasons. And I remember building for the Worlds.
Oh yeah.
That was really painful. I changed team
Yeah.
5 times a day at least. Ended up running something that I wasn't happy with, that I wasn't confident with, and I went pretty yeah, pretty bad. But until the day before, I had 5 out of 6 Pokemon the same to build the boy team.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's you never know whether whether your decisions are going to be the resolutive ones and they're gonna help you out with the tournament, or maybe just the last change that you make are gonna destroy completely your team and you're gonna have any confidence at all. Incidentally, I was running a very RPS team until the day before the beginning of Gdansk. So I attended to a cup in town on
Oh
Friday, and yeah, I was running Cabin Totera, something like this, because I was so convinced that actually one way to win was just forcing your opponent
yeah.
to make to make hard decisions against your polarizing lines. But I ended up being RPS all the time because my opponents were rightfully taking a lot of risks because they didn't know how to deal with my
Yeah.
polarizing picks. But I had to take some risk as well because yeah, so I was putting myself into RPS, even if the aim was just trying to understand or try to have a clear idea of what my opponents could bring. And I think yeah, the team building headache has been growing over the past months because the meta is getting wider and wider every update. Comparing with the meta we had last year in Stuttgart when you won,
Yeah.
it was much closer. and
More
yeah,
neutral.
you just had to find that Pokemon and that strategy that no one was prepared enough for. And yeah,
Yeah,
last year was Annihilate in the lead with polarizing backline. It paid a lot of dividends for you last year, and
yeah.
it
No, go
was the
ahead.
best way to play. It was the best way to play last year. Now you can play whatever you want, but yeah, so that's the point. And you can really play whatever you want, and you can win, you can lose. There are so many core breakers that you really can't be prepared for all of them. And as you
Yeah,
said, the Dana is one of the prime example because all the teams are four four times weak to the Dana right now. But yeah, the other two are usually hard walls, and yeah, more often than not, I don't know, it's often just a dead weight for you, just even if you bring it. So yeah, I really wish the meta maybe just gets a
yeah,
little bit narrow. Yeah.
yeah. Because yeah, as you said, like team building has been like super difficult for me. It was in Leo. Like I had no idea what to run. Also in kind of in Worlds is the same. But I feel like as you said, describe two things that you described pretty well. Is you in this meta what I felt like it was having a bit of luck. Like if you didn't see the mon that you were kind of weak to, you could get far. If you did face like back to back rounds of the thing that doesn't really exist, you had no chance. And that would happen to me in Lille. I faced a team comp that was impossible for me, and that dropped me to the losers round. And I was forced to play the whole losers round. I did make a nice loser round, but then in the losers finals, I faced the same guy again, and I had no play basically. I had to take risk, and that is a bit of unfortunate that you have to face you get unlucky and face like the most rough team comp, and yeah, I don't really think could. I feel like there's better way to show this game having a lot of skill and flexibility, and as you said as well, it becomes of a headache, and yeah, a lot of luck for factor, and also when you do face these type of unfortunate team comps, it will not really demonstrate luck as well because you will have to take a lot of crazy risk, and then you might be lucky in RPS. And I don't think having too much luck rather than skill and neutrality demonstrates true skill of a player.
Yeah. Yeah, specifically, yeah, the player you were talking about, yeah, Gorkov 95, yeah, who beat you in the first round?
Yeah,
I mean, it was round two for you, right? I
yeah,
guess, but
honestly.
yeah, yeah. And then he happened to just kick you
Face
out again.
yeah
Yeah,
in the last round, like the
that's
round
rough.
before day two. Yeah, so it as a competitor, it does feel a bit frustrating having to like in Leo, for example, having the unlucky thing by facing the wrong team comp because the meta is so dense. Like you can't really cover everything, and I would like to see, as I said, more narrow but more specifically a neutral meta. And I think by condensing the meta, making it more narrow could help with that.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I mean, every change is usually welcome, and we're gonna see some shakeups. I'm really hoping they won't nerf Rock Tomb so much. I would understand why they would do that, but I mean, we have just seen Spider, which seemed really promising, and I actually would love to play it. But yeah,
Oh,
if Rock Tomb gets nerfed, I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of bad, I
yeah,
guess.
we could go launch Exeter, but yeah, having same not no
Yeah,
coverage. I don't know.
yeah, the anti-flyer move is kind of needed.
Yeah,
So yeah, but yeah, definitely there are other moves that I think they need to be nerfed definitely. Maybe if they went back to a meta where charge attacks are more important, the fast moves will be ideal. So like making Astonish less powerful, making Mudslap less damage
yeah,
oriented. That probably help a lot because as of now, yeah, I mean compared with the old Dance Pass Shadow Era meta back in the day, that was extremely skillful and you could just play with
Yeah,
energy a lot. And now
yeah,
we
but
kind
even like
of yeah,
going back even further, like this is like a long time. This was like Super RPS. We all know if you played Lantern, Trevenant, Knockdown meta, that was
oh
probably
yes,
worse than this meta. But the meta before that, when there was just pure Medi Likitan, that was also like really neutral. But it was you always saw the same thing as
yeah,
Liki Medi, and the same thing with Shadow Drapion and Asumro in every team. Like and then pick a third Shadow Gator. But like those games still felt quite dynamic and also it did show a lot of skill because we did see a lot of top players always not doesn't have to be like the same old players, but we did see the consistency of the good players always making day two, and I feel
yeah,
like that demonstrates that the meta is probably healthy and
yeah.
good.
So yeah, if anyone's listening, yeah, let's hope they hear us. But yeah, we are getting close to the end of the interview. And yeah, before we say goodbye, yeah, you just have some space when you can just give shout out to your friends who supported you or to your family. Is your dad coming to 2020 tournament this year, or what?
Oh,
Just the
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as most probably know that I do travel a lot with my dad, but no, not this season. We have to. I think it's more convenient in terms of expenses, traveling alone, especially now that I'm a youth. So it's like a bit cheaper in terms of flight and stuff like that. But he will be at Worlds, that's for sure. So
okay,
yeah, a big shout out to the family for supporting what I'm doing, and obviously big support and shout out to mainly like the close people that I prep with, and also specifically to the Team Pizza team. They have definitely made the player that I am today. They have shaped me and helped me to basically become better in the game. So a huge thank you for them. Uh, Sincerely, I mean.
yeah, and I like to think it's also partially just like thanks to me because when I left TM Pizza,
Oh
they
yeah,
had it,
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah,
they got you in, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah.
got
When
you in.
yeah, I took your spot if I remember. Yeah, I think Stan told me that. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was very funny.
But yeah, so yeah, thanks David for this chat. It was really insightful, really nice to hear from you about all this, all your run and what you thought round by round, your meta perspective. Yeah, very insightful. I appreciate that, and hopefully you'll be back soon in this channel after winning either LAIC or UIC. So yeah, we root for you.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm very grateful for being here. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, so take care and we'll speak soon. Bye.
Bye.